Hey everybody, it's Tim from Tadabase here, and this is Build It with Tim. However, on today's episode, we're not so much building things as we are kind of talking about how to build things and talking about Tadabase as a platform itself. As the no-code industry continues to expand to allow citizen developers to build incredible applications for their business or for consumers, the amount of platforms that have come into the market has grown exponentially. And one of the things I want to focus on today is how Tadabase shines in two different categories. Number one being power and flexibility. Number two being the speed at which you can actually develop an application. To kind of emphasize my point here, we're going to be using Tadabase plugins and kind of just talking about plugins in general. But first, let's talk about Tadabase plugins, what they are, and how we can use them. To get a better understanding of what plugins are and where they came from, we kind of have to go back in history and kind of talk about Tadabase as a platform as a whole. Now, since kind of the inception of Tadabase, we have always been champions of low-code solutions. So yes, Tadabase is a no-code application builder, but we've always encouraged low-code implementations of different things because, quite frankly, we thought it was very cool. When you're building a Tadabase application, we can add custom code from the highest levels of the application all the way down to the most granular levels, starting with the actual header and footer that load with the page when your application loads in a web browser. We can add code snippets here, such as CSS or JavaScript. Then per page, we can go into a CSS tab or a JavaScript tab to really provide the ultimate level of flexibility when interacting with the native Tadabase features and elements on the page. Now, over the years, we've had amazing contributions for low-code snippets and different ways you can kind of modify and tweak your application using low-code solutions. And we've since kind of packaged all of that together and released it as plugins. Now, plugins are snippets of code that can be installed with the simple click of a button in a no-code interface, but then still allow for that flexibility and power of low-code solutioning by giving you access to the plugin code that's installed. And we're going to come back to that point in a few minutes, but the plugin specifically that we're going to work with today is a side panel data widget. Now, this is a really cool plugin that allows us to take a component on a page and open it up inside of a side panel on the page with a simple click of a button. Jumping back into Tadabase, we can see just how quickly and easily we can actually accomplish this goal using Tadabase plugins. I'm trying to add new tasks to a task data table using a form and displaying them using a table component. Scrolling back up to the top of the page, I'll click Plugins, choose the Side Panel Data widget, select the component that I want to open in the widget, and click Install. And just like that, I'm done. That's it. That's all we have to do. And if I preview this page, go into the project details page, we now have a new button on the lower right-hand corner of the screen. I click it and it opens my form in a widget. The amount of time that I was able to save by using the Tadabase plugin is invaluable. Not to mention, the side panel widget looks really cool and it's highly functional. Better yet, when combined with that flexibility and that power that I talked about in the beginning of this video, we have access to the CSS that's used for the plugin so that we have complete control. If we want to change the background color, we can do so here. And the full JavaScript code is available to us as well. There's so much power and opportunity at your fingertips when using this kind of system. For example, if you reference a video that I did a couple weeks ago where I talked about using ChatGPT in order to help you with low code or coding solutions, we could simply take this entire JavaScript and ask ChatGPT a question about how to configure it, and I still have no idea how to code. There's so many other plugins that we can explore here too that contribute to rapid development of our application, such as this one in the upper left-hand corner that allows us to display a status of some kind, whatever you have built in your application, as a progress bar. Now, since we're on a detail page, I can grab that value from a detail component and display it as a progress bar. And refreshing the page, you can see we now have a progress bar at the top. And once again, just to reiterate, I did not have to spend hours configuring each individual element of this progress bar. Rather, I installed it as a completed plugin that I can modify later if I really feel the need. So, with all that said, I think speed of development is ultimately one of the most important aspects of a particular platform, especially when we consider the entirety of the platform, not just a way to manage and view your data, but an actual development suite that allows us to really build long lasting and impactful applications. So, please excuse me while I go back to installing many more plugins into this application so that I can really push this page to the next level. So, that's it for today's episode of Build It with Tim. We'll see you next week. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.